Hello and welcome out to this week's interview here at Outbreak Gamers. I am your host, WebDave, David Anthony, big fat guy. I go by anything at this point. If I seem a little tired today, it's because at the time we're recording this, and CMoney will back me up, today has probably been one of the biggest days in gaming history.
Facts. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So actually today we are recording this on a Tuesday, even though it's going to air on a Monday a few weeks from now. But this is for the future. but yeah, so the ABK deal, the judge sided with Microsoft, and we'll see how things go from here. Looking like it's going pretty good.
It's going
So
well.
of course, when this airs in a couple of weeks, I was like, it all fell apart. What
Can
the
you
hell? No.
imagine?
Hey,
That would be
that
heartbreaking.
would be so bad. That would be so bad. Let me go back and be
That
like,
would be so bad, dude.
a lot of comments going, ooh, glad you got that in history. Thanks. For
Oh, man.
now, it's looking really damn good. Oh my goodness. Let me
Oh,
get
my
this
God.
banners going for us. So welcome out to the show, CMoney. How you doing, sir?
Oh, man, I'm doing great, man. Again, like you said, today's a huge day. It's a celebratory day, so I'm pumped. So happy from the day. It was really good, really good. I'm so happy that you had me on too. I've been watching the interviews. I love them. They're very
Thank you.
well done. So I'm just happy to be a part of the awesome group of people you've been interviewing, man. Oh my God. So
Well, you're
awesome.
definitely you and your whole family is really becoming a really prominent part of the community, and was I mean, this is what happens to a lot of us. You watch a Boomstick show, and who's this guy he's got on now? Ooh, this guy's pretty good, and you've been on a lot recently, which is great because he can recognize talent. I don't know why he sees me, but you can recognize talent
He
in you for
knows.
sure.
Boom's a good guy, man.
He is. Boom is the best in the world, man.
He really is. It's
Yeah.
crazy because I saw it when watching, I've
Mhm.
watched streams forever, right? So
Yeah.
I've always seen it, but then it's like I don't know your relationship with like the
Mhm.
people he's with. I don't really know that relationship, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys knew each other from before or whatever,
Mm-mm.
but to see how quickly he embraces somebody
Yeah.
and like so genuine and so like real and cool, it's Boom is the man.
He is.
He's the man. He deserves to be way higher. Like I don't even understand how
I think he'll get there. I think he'll
he
get there.
will, but he should be
Yeah.
so much
Oh no,
higher. Like
I'm
this
with you.
is
He should
crazy.
be the 100,000 man easy
Yeah,
at
easy,
this
easy.
point. But he'll get there because he's one of the good guys.
He really is.
He jokes around saying officer friendly kind of thing because he's a
Yeah.
retired police officer.
Yep.
But he like you said, he's very welcoming and
Absolutely.
he's passionate about gaming. He's retired, so he can really focus on it, and he does. He really puts in the
Yes.
work to make
Yes.
us all look good, to be honest. So
Absolutely. Absolutely agree.
so
5
yeah.
times a week, man. He
Yeah.
gets it. He does great.
Yeah, it is, and occasionally there's a bonus episode here and there too, so
Yes.
that's always kinda cool. So but he got lucky
Absolutely.
today right before his show started, and then the big news
Perfect
dropped,
timing.
and exactly, I think you jumped on, I was on, there was a whole bunch of people that normally aren't on that particular show.
Yep.
So yeah, so it was cool. And even the Boom was like, "Come on in, say your piece." Well, I mean, you know, that's a great, so just
Yep.
kind of a
Yep.
little relief, a little fun. But enough
Absolutely.
about Boom.
Our boy Boom.
We do love him. Let's talk about you. I always kind of like to, and you've seen my shows, you probably know. I kind of like to start off with like what was your first job that you ever had?
Yes. I know. I've been thinking about this because I
Okay.
had to remember. So my first job was the least interesting job you could ever have. So my at the time I was in high school and my friend over the summer her mother worked at a laboratory in Jersey. Okay. And I went to work there and they did other things. I didn't really know what they did in the other side of the room, but they literally had like one little entry point where they let me come in and I just basically walked in like 5 feet and that's where I stood and then that's where I would leave. And the job I had was I had to label water samples. So throughout the day, people would go and drive, to wherever they were collecting these samples,
Mhm.
bring them back, and I had to make sure that the list of samples we're supposed to have matched up with what they brought me, and then I had to label them, and that was it, dude, all day. That's it.
Wow, some like environmental type thing maybe?
I, honestly, at that
I
age,
didn't even like you care.
I
Money.
I didn't even bother asking, dude. It was literally just water sample.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were testing for or what they were doing, but
There you go. There you
that's
go.
all I
You
did
say,
for the
"Here,
summer.
open your
That
mouth.
was
Let
it.
me get this little swab here."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. What?
Oh my god. And
Why
it's
does he keep calling me lab rat? I don't
yeah, I
understand
know,
this.
I know. And it's one of those jobs that, like, right now, it doesn't exist, like, because
Right.
it would be digital, right? Like, so
Mm.
you would scan it and it would be done. But back then,
No.
they had a
Yeah.
14-year-old kid, or 13, I think, at the time, or one of those ages. 14-year-old kid just, like, writing it down. Half the time, I'm like, "Oh god, I don't even know, like, who knows what I labeled over there?" I don't know. I don't know. But that's it, man. That was it. It was a very uninteresting job. The
Oh my
most
goodness.
interesting part of it was
Yeah.
that her mother was friends with the owner,
Mm.
and the owner during the summer would have his sons come and work, and his one of his sons was really, like, nerdy.
Mm.
So but they had a lot of money. So he had the first I ever saw in my life, of the Palm Pilot.
Mm. Cool.
So you can go on, like, the web browser, and that
Mhm.
blew my mind. Oh my god. When he brought it out to me, I was like, "Can I use it?" And he let me, and I tried to get on back in the day, teamxbox.com. I don't know if you knew that website,
Yep.
but even back then, I was trying to get on teamxbox.com, and it would take forever for one page to load.
Mhm.
And then if you wanted to scroll, another 30 seconds just to gain the little bit on the bottom. It was ridiculous. But that was the best part of it, was every day he would during my lunch, he would let me use his Palm Pilot, and
That's
I would be
cool.
able to read like a page and a half, because by then it took too long to load and lunch was over.
Yeah.
But, but that's it. That was the most exciting part of
Well,
my
that's
career.
cool though. That's cool. I mean, obviously that wasn't the only job you ever had. I guess. So from
Nope.
there, what did you, well, like, I guess as you started to get older, what interested you, and what kind of jobs did you maybe take on to?
So, from there, I mean, aside from like other summer random kitty jobs, the first
Mhm.
job that I really wanted to have was I worked at KB Toys.
Nice.
So I don't know if that was a locals place or if
Oh
that
no,
was
it's nationwide.
that was nationwide? Okay,
Hmm.
so at the time I didn't know, but KB Toys, and they sold video games there along with
Hmm.
toys. So that was like my whole thing. I was like, "Oh my god, I wanna get the job there," and I got it there, and I loved it because I was able to, when games came in, I would be able to get a discount, and if I wanted a particular game, if I hid the newer copies, they would let me buy the one that they thought was the last copy for, like, super cheap, because they would open it to display the case.
Oh,
Oh, man.
sneaky.
Oh, man. Well, I didn't have much money, so I had to do what I
Hey,
had to
there
do.
you go. Gotta do what you gotta do.
I remember getting Soldier of Fortune 2,
Cool. Remember that?
and that was dope at the time.
Oh
But,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, KB Toys was a pretty prominent chain, and yeah, like video games and so many collectible toys nowadays standard. Back then it was like,
Yes.
but yeah, I definitely remember KB Toys. That's pretty cool. So I guess
Absolutely.
so from there, did you, I guess, what kind of like, we didn't talk about this in the green room, so if there's anything that you job wise that you can't talk about, let me know. Well, I'll
Oh.
put it this way: I've interviewed Boxenberger, and it's like, well, the job I do not can only speak about because, I'm like, okay. And it just clicked in my eyes. Oh, that's a security type job and he can't talk about
Yeah.
it. And I just walked into that one.
Yeah.
so,
No, no,
so
no.
okay, cool.
Not like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, no. I kept it pretty low key. Aside from KB Toys, I had little small jobs until, I was doing that through school.
Yeah.
And then once after college, I started sales, and that's been that's been my thing. I did sales for
Mhm.
years, then I managed, and now I own a company.
It's
Um,
fantastic.
and yeah, that's where we are.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I know that you were on a interview, or I guess a show with Boom the other day
Yep.
when we had the
The chirp.
yeah, the fire detector. Yeah, it wasn't your
Yep.
fault. It happens. Because you weren't
Yep.
expecting to be on anyway, so you couldn't really have time to fix it before
Yep.
you went on the show. So, but it was just kind of it was kind of funny that we were like, "Chirp," like we like you
Yeah, and I think it was
you
going on for a long time, like, for a long time before that, but, like, I get, like, numb to
used
the
to it.
noise.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, like, it doesn't even register.
yeah.
So, when you guys were talking, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, that's, like, m miles away." Turns out it was actually in the room, and I didn't realize it.
Oh my god,
It
that's
was
so funny.
literally right above me.
Yeah,
Like, the smoke detector was right there. I
that's
didn't
funny.
realize it till after. I was like, "Oh, shit. No wonder it was
Uh,
so loud. It was right here."
and with the earbuds in, and you know, and it was. I
Yep.
mean, it was like, ow. And
Yeah, no,
sometimes, you know,
I
so,
apologize
but
for that for
no, no, no,
sure.
no, no. That's not why I'm saying it. But it was funny because you just never know. You just never know
Yep.
when something like that's gonna creep up on you. But you're at home now in your home little studio, and I like that. I mean, you got some really cool tchotchkes and stuff in the back
Oh,
there. It's
yeah.
really cool.
Oh, I have ton like, it's all I
Yeah.
love that's I love collectibles.
Hmm.
So and I'm big Halo. Like, you see, this is, like, my gears over here. You can't see it, but I have I don't even know you can hear that, but, I have, like, Gears of War stuff over here.
Hmm.
You see my little Halo guy right there and the
Oh
Halo
yeah.
poster, but, like, back there, I have a whole, like, shrine pretty much of all different statues of Halo. Got my big Master Chief helmet here. I I love this stuff. Like,
Oh yeah.
I always loved it. It's from when I was a kid, I always
Sure.
loved video games. Like, that was my entertainment of choice since forever, since I
Hmm.
had a Nintendo, original Nintendo, everything forward. I just loved it. But we didn't have a lot of money. So, I played what I could and we got what we
Yeah.
got, but once I was grown,
Yeah.
there's years of statues and stuff here. It's
Hmm. Hmm.
just I love it.
Yeah, I was the same way. I mean, yeah, we made of money. My dad did get us the Atari 2600 the day it came out. We went and
Nice.
lined to go get it. I didn't know what it was at first. He didn't know it was what we were doing. You know,
Yep.
he was kind of like, well, we're getting this for you, son. You know, kind of like
Yeah, yeah, yep.
he played a little bit, but then it was just all ours because he it was too above his head at that time anyway. So but yeah, but
Nice.
we of course took to it pretty good. But yeah, I get it. Those kind of things happen. And then as you get to be an adult, always oh man, on Neo Geos, those things are so cool. Well, when I became an adult and could afford a little, I guess, expenditure money and I was like, so I bought one off eBay and played the hell out of that thing for a
Yep.
couple of years. It was so awesome, so
Oh
much
my
fun.
god. I feel you. I down there, I have all of the old consoles, like, all the old ones. I went back and just like you, we would go to, like, Game Exchange and buy a whole
Yeah,
bunch of them and anywhere we could find them. I love having them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never
yeah.
touch them or turn them on, but just being able to see them there feels good. I
Oh,
like them.
for me, my son is big collector, and of course,
Nice.
most of anything that I had over the years. I mean, he got a lot of stuff too as the years went by. But
Yep,
like some of my old, like my original Atari and stuff like that, that's he has it in his collection because he like has like you said like a monument
yep,
stands and different things kind of like this is to him it's like this is so cool and
yep,
it
yep,
is cool stuff you know 20 years ago, people were like, you play games or what a geek or whatever, and then now it's like, it's like, wow, that thing's worth a lot of money. That's really cool that you have that, so times change, man. It's just
absolutely,
it's so weird how it
absolutely.
happens that way. But yeah, it's cool though. I love it. I love it a lot. So let's talk about your more of your gaming then. Get into your gaming prowess. What was the first system you ever had?
So the first system I ever had was the Nintendo, the NES.
Nice.
Um, so I got that. It was my first console, but it was towards the tail end because I was young when it first came out. When was it in 88, 86, 85? the Nintendo?
something like that.
Somewhere around there. It was right around when I was born. So I played it when I was like 4 or 5 years old. That was when I first got it. Um, and I loved it. Oh my god, I remember Mario was my jam. Like, I
Mhm.
loved it so hard. Um, and then I always for whatever reason, I can't I think it was just called Kung Fu. It's like your
Mhm.
little karate guy, and then you just oh my god, I played the hell out of that game. Yep, it was so good. But yeah, Nintendo, the NES was my first one. Again, we didn't have tons of money, so I didn't have like tons of games, but you just played the crap out of their games. So Mario was like
Mhm.
everything over and over, and then
All you need is
that,
one.
yeah, it's just every Mario. Just kept playing it. They were so good. Loved them.
Now, did you I assume once you found out that there were like shortcuts and hidden levels and things
Oh
like
yeah.
that in there, didn't it, I mean, to me it was like, what?
Yep. It was like
First time I found it was
amazing.
accident, total
Yep.
accident. We went up and jumped off and oh, I'm gonna die. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I keep going. Wait,
Yep.
where am I at? And he go, warp zone. What the hell?
Yep.
Yeah, then
It
we had
blew
to do
my
all this
mind.
research. What is all this? Yeah.
Yeah, it blew my mind, and I was so young that I didn't really like, I was just like, "What happened?" I thought
Mm-hmm.
I broke it, like, I was like, "Oh, no, I can't see my character," and then you keep going, and then poof, you dropped, I was like, "Oh my god," and,
Yep.
I never for whatever reason, I never went to the first 2. I always I always just
Well,
immediately
yeah,
go to the furthest one. Didn't make any sense to me. Why did I jump to the next board or the final? No, I wanna go all the way.
yeah. Let's keep going, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Man, it's wild, man. Those are the times. It was so simple, but
Hmm.
it felt so new, right? Like that's the one thing that I feel like I miss. Like that newness is gone, right? Like
Yeah.
you play a new game and it's not really new. It's just like reskinned of something else that you've
Hmm.
played or like a mix of games that you've played. But there's very little like new now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of is what it is, I guess. Definitely
So
miss
so
it though.
so you're a father,
Yep.
like me. So I got a lot of joy, and I think you probably did too, when you got to introduce your kids to like some of your early games and such, and or
Yes.
just kind of things, and they're like, you see, kind of relive that experience through their eyes, and they're like,
Yes.
so I love
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, Madman, that's my son, the one that does the podcast with us and stuff. So he's my first, he's the oldest.
Yeah.
And he is like when we started showing him the games, like that's why we started getting all these old consoles
Hmm.
because he got infatuated with the old stuff. Like he loved the classic games like a lot. Like he would just play them, and he would want to play any of the old games that we would like. He just had like this thirst for experiencing it, right? Like he would, no matter what you threw at him, he was ready to try the next one. He just loved it. Um, but the what got him into like actually playing was the Wii. So the Wii was his like main thing, aside from all the previous consoles that we bought and the
Hmm.
classic stuff we showed him. Mario Kart was his favorite game. That's why Mario Kart Madman. He was a madman for Mario Kart at the time.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why we made the channel name that way. But Mario Kart was his jam. And yeah, it was so wild because in the beginning he wouldn't play. He wanted us to play.
Want to
So
watch you.
he wanted
Hmm.
us to play so he can watch. And no matter what, you try to get him to play, he was like, "No, he didn't want to. He just wanted you to play. He just wanted you to play." Then eventually he picked it up and he just he was just off to the races after that. It's so funny because since he likes the old school games, like he likes like he's 16 now, but when we watch him play games, like it didn't dawn on me, but it links so much. Like right now, he plays the hell out of Cuphead, right? Like,
Hmm.
and my daughters too, my 6-year-olds, they're playing Cuphead too, right? But he loves it, right? And it's like that's all he loves, like the challenge, like that repetition of dying and like, all right,
Hmm.
I gotta do it again this time. Die, do it again. And it's like that's kind of lost on the newer youth, right?
Right.
Because they're all about how easy, some of these games could be or getting through it, right? Where he just grinds. It's crazy. It's really cool.
Yeah,
It's cool living
that
through your kids like that, where you see that,
it
start
does.
reliving that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Can you remember, like, I remember when I played that for the first time, and then it was like, now they're doing this, like, oh, so
yep,
yeah, yeah,
yep,
it's a good feeling, and it's something that you guys can enjoy together,
absolutely,
because you know about you'll give information or knowledge that they're like, because that's their interest, that's their fascination. It's a good bond
absolutely.
between the kid and the parent.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
that was, like, our big thing. Every time we would go to one of the stores, we would look at what cartridges, like, what old games, like, "Oh, dad, we don't have this one. Alright, let's go get it," and then we would just put it in. I love the Hyperkin. Remember the
mm,
Hyperkin was out for a little while?
mm-hmm,
I don't know if they're still making them, but we got it, and it's dope because you could put multiple systems games in there,
mm-hmm,
and it was digitalized, so you put your old cartridge, but the system itself would let you, like, save, rewind, do a whole bunch of different things.
mm-hmm.
So, it was a little bit easier for me because back then I could do it, but now, oh my god, I get my ass whooped when I try to play those old games, yo. They're
I'm right
too
there with
hard
you.
for me now. It's crazy.
Yep.
Back in the day, I used to be able to play all these games, and, like, it was the only game you had, so you just got good.
Yeah.
Just now, it's like there's so much to do that I can't, like, it's so hard to get good at some of these really hard games, it's
Yeah.
tough.
Right there with you. Well, like, I guess an example for me would be like, playing. My daughter is just now back into the Elden Ring. She started
Mhm.
playing when we very first came out, and then for whatever something else came out, so she went to that, and then she didn't. And Steam had a sale just a few nights ago, and she bought it. Now she's playing through it, and she's like, "Oh, cool." So I thought, well, while she's doing it, I was on the TV. I'm like, I haven't played my game in a while. I have real high level and stuff, so I thought I'd play it. And I was like 2 or 3 minutes in, I'm like looking at them because I've been so long since I played it,
Yep.
and I had just not think out of a game, but I completely forgotten all the
Yep.
mechanics of the game, and I was like, running into crap and
Oh,
mounting or
yeah.
dismounting. And I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
there's,
I
like,
hate
a
that.
rhythm you get
Hmm.
into when you're playing them,
Yeah.
that once that rhythm is gone, it's sometimes I find it harder to relearn it than to learn it the
Yes.
first time. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So, like, just like you, Elden Ring, like, all the Souls games before that, I could not do it. Elden Ring
Mm.
was my first one actually that I can get through because I had the
Yeah.
choice. And I put, like, 180 hours into it, like, I played the hell out of it. But then I remember, like, I stopped playing it because Halo Season 2 was coming out, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I gotta gotta go to my Halo." So I beat that I rushed the end, just to kinda beat it, so I finished the
Hmm.
game. But then I went back, like, I think before season 3 of Halo dropped, just to kind of see, like, to play more, and I had
Hmm.
to stop because I forgot, like, how, like, I forgot the way I was playing, like, the
Yep.
what weapon I was using that was good, like,
Hmm.
I forgot everything, so I was like, "You know what? I'm good.
I
I'm
might
good."
have to like sit down and take another tutorial
Yeah, no, I'll wait
and
for Elden
to
Ring, the
watch it.
expansion or something,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well,
Yep.
I bought the new Zelda.
Yes.
Um, I put it in, watched the original, the new cutscene or whatever till the game starts, and
Mhm.
shut it off, and I haven't played it since. I'm sure I will, but there's so much other stuff going on, other stuff to get to. But my daughter's like, "What you think, of Zelda?" I was like, I'll get to it." She's like, "You haven't played it, have you?"
Oh my
No, I got
oh
it.
my
I
god.
will.
It, it's funny because I was that was the game I was playing before Diablo 4 came out,
Hmm.
and I was really into it, like, it's really good, I like the new systems and stuff like that, but, um, Diablo 4 came out, and I was like, that was that. It just took me over, but Zelda, I actually didn't play the original Zeldas,
Mm,
like, at all, like, I had Nintendo, but then I went from Nintendo to Sega.
nice.
So, like, I had Nintendo, then I had Nintendo 64,
Hmm.
but I went to Sega, in between, and Sega was my jam. So I didn't play a lot of I was too young, I think, at the time for Zelda because it didn't kinda click with me when the original Zelda first came out.
Mm.
Um, but after that, like, Ocarina of Time, all that stuff, everybody was, like, gung ho about it. I just could not. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get into any of the Zeldas. I've always bought them. Like once I started making my own money and when a new Zelda came out, I would buy it, never touch it. Like my
Mm,
son would play them, but I wouldn't touch them. I just couldn't. So Breath of the Wild was my first Zelda game that I actually kind of went all in on
love it.
and loved it. And it was great. And it's funny because Zelda came out right before Horizon. I mean, right
Right.
after Horizon, right? The week after, right? So Horizon came out and I got that and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play Horizon. Then Zelda came and killed Horizon, right?
Yeah, more ways than one.
Yeah, like murdered it. It's done, right? Then fast forward, Horizon 2 comes out, right? And then
Hmm.
Elden Ring comes out the next week, right? So I'm playing Horizon 2, Elden Ring comes out, boom, kills Horizon 2, right?
Yep.
Then the next year, I finally say, you know what? I'm gonna go back to Horizon. All right. They've updated it. And it was just recently when they released the expansion.
Hmm.
I never beat the original. So you have to beat the original to play the expansion. And the expansion is PlayStation 5 only. So I was like, oh man, I really
Hmm.
want to play that. So all right, I'll go back to play the original. And playing the original, and I'm actually really enjoying it, going well. And then what comes out? Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
And then done.
Boom.
It's over. Can't go back to that one either. Oh my
Yep.
god. That game,
Yep.
I have, like, the worst luck with Horizon. It's it's, like,
The
not meant to.
woes of a video game player.
I know, man. There's always something new coming out,
Hmm.
and that's the problem, and I try not to, like when I was younger, I would play games and, like, beat them, like, I
Yeah.
bought this game, I'm gonna beat it.
Hmm.
But now it's like, I try to not limit not limit myself. Like, when I play a game, I feel like the game has to call me, like,
Hmm.
when I say, "Okay, I'm gonna go sit down and play," right? I have countless games I can play. Like, what am I gonna play? So when I go and sit down, if it's like a new game that come out, I'll try to play it. But like after I play it, if the next time I go to sit down, it's not like immediately saying, "Oh man, no, you should be playing this game." It's like
Right.
I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna force myself to do it just because it's the game that's out. And that's why like Diablo 4 has taken me. And every time I sit down to play, Diablo 4 is what I want to play. So it's like, sorry, Zelda. But that's
Yep.
it. I can't fake it. I
So I'm
can't
with
fake
you.
it.
I'm with you. I've got a plan that on my weekends I'm gonna try and get through some games because I know once September gets here, all my focus is gonna
Starfield.
be on one game.
It's over.
Yep.
It's
At
over.
least for a little while. A long
Yeah.
while probably.
For
Yep.
for a long while, most likely, because that is gonna be crazy. That's the only thing I'm glad about is that we do live streams on our channel.
Yeah.
So that's like my outlet to play other games. Because
Yeah.
it's like, all right, we'll oh, this new game come out, we'll play that one. And then I could just be on my merry way in my own time and just play stuff.
There you go. You know what I'd do? I'd be like, okay, we're on week 10 of Starfield. Let's go. Let's watch me build a ship for 8 hours. Woohoo.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's wild, but
Yeah.
that's what it is, man. That Starfield is gonna be everything,
Yep.
which is crazy. Like, I feel like there's so much like, I have so high of a thought of Starfield right now. Like,
Yeah.
I really hope it doesn't. I don't see it doing it because everything we've seen looks great, but I
Right.
really hope it doesn't shit the bed somehow.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. And I just don't feel that it's going to. I think that
I
it's
feel
going
like
to
I
be.
feel like it can't. Like, it's almost too big to fail, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
way that they can let it be bad. I just
And
can't.
even if it gets a little mundane or whatever, it's like the modding community is going to come in and just
Yes.
build it up. So yeah.
Oh, with all those planets, dude, they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be people are gonna be claiming planets. It's gonna be great. It's gonna
It's
be
going to be
great.
awesome.
Yeah, I
Gonna,
can't wait.
yeah.
I can't wait. That's gonna be a big moment. And it's the start of the Xbox we always wanted
Mm-hmm.
Xbox to be,
Yep.
where they were able to give us big games and consistently give us big games. And honestly, like we don't even like I don't there's no end in sight right now, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we have this and Forza, and then next year we already have 4 big games that we know are going to be coming,
Mm-hmm.
and we have games for 2025 already starting to line up. It's like how much time in a day do we have that we can play?
And they've said that there's actually a few games that aren't announced that are going to be coming out this year and the beginning of next year
Oh my
that we
god.
don't even know about. I'm like,
Well,
what?
Aaron
Who?
Greenberg did say
Let's go.
Gamescom was going to be very special this year.
Yep, he sure did.
He sure did. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what they got. Oh my god.
And then we got the award show coming up a little later on in the year.
Yep. It's like we're spoiled for riches. And the question is,
Just
are they going to
imagine.
do another show? Like, are they going to bring an XO? Because remember when they
Oh,
did
yeah.
XO years ago, was it XO 19 or whatever? They announced all these studios that they
Mm-hmm.
bought. It's like, who knows what they got going on? Matt Booty made it seem like there was a road of shows ahead of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe they're probably going to be some kind of presence every quarter of some kind.
Yeah, I would think so. I feel like they should.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they need to, like they need to make big deals about these things because if they make it, that's where the hype builds up. When they
Yeah.
make us feel like it's a big deal, like that's the one thing that like Nintendo and Sony they do really well. When they got a big game, they're gonna give us a state of play or
Yeah.
a Nintendo Direct on it. Like what they did with Starfield and what they did in January with that
Mm-hmm.
the developer direct,
That was
that's the
great,
way
though.
forward.
I hope
Yeah,
they do more of those. At least a couple of times a year would be great.
yeah,
So
man,
well put together. It's nice.
absolutely,
I mean, yes, we
absolutely.
did get a surprise drop, but they don't even need that, and show would have still been fantastic. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. And it's funny because I feel like the surprise drops are gonna get hard to do now because
yeah,
there's so many scheduled games coming out. Like
hmm
at that time, we didn't have anything coming. So it's like, surprise, you actually do have a great game. And it's like
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
High Five Rush was dope.
But the one thing that's cool, and like I mean, Colt Eastwood was talking about this the other day that for every game we know about, oh no, I think maybe it was Jez Gordon. For every game we know about now that we actually know about,
Mhm.
there's two more that are far into development at each studio that we know nothing about as a
I can
consumer.
imagine.
Yeah, that are
I
either
can
in the back in the works, and some of them will get to a certain point and then they'll like that's not working and they'll go on to another project. But then
Yeah.
there's still some that'll be like, oh, the next big hi-fi rush or whatever, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that's exciting too.
it's exciting because we know the Xbox we have now, right?
Hmm.
The Xbox we have now is going out there and they're making it their business to give us the hi-fi rushes, even the smaller like Pentiments and things like
Hmm.
that. Like Pentiment, if that was released in 2021, it would have hit, I think, harder. I think because it was like the one of the only things we got in 2022, it was like a smaller thing and it didn't hit as hard. But if you had surrounded that with big games,
Hmm.
it would have been the perfect palate cleanser from going from a big game to something like that, then into a big game.
Yeah,
Did you play it, Pentiment?
I did not.
You
I hear
didn't?
it's really good.
I
I
played it for a little
haven't
bit.
had a chance.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
played it for a little bit and like I was digging it. Like I definitely was digging it, but again, it's kind of there's a lot of games out there,
Yes, there
and
are.
as much as that game was cool, like I was still because in 2022 we didn't have a lot of big first party stuff. I was looking elsewhere,
Right.
for something big to satiate me.
Hmm.
But
I don't think we're going to have those problems anymore with the
no,
closing of the New Deal
no,
pending
I
very
can't even
soon.
understand what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
even make sense.
Yeah.
Like you figure if they talk about one big game, one big game a quarter, if
Yep.
they're keeping it as is, that means the fourth quarter is always Call of Duty. But if they do what we hope, it's every other year there's a Call of Duty, right?
And even then, Call of Duty, I don't necessarily, I think that one's going to be quote unquote a staple and not be
Okay.
considered some of the four that they're going to,
Oh wow.
each year. I seriously
Yeah.
don't think
I mean, it
I don't
makes
think
sense.
that's calculated into the quote unquote, games new coming out. And that even like, whoa, when this is over, yeah,
Oh my god, there's so many that I
$69 billion, 68.7 in the sale.
yep.
And they have 90 billion cash on hand left in the coffers after that. Yeah, sink the end in. That's awesome.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
so crazy. There's
Yep.
so many studios, man, that they need to buy.
Yes,
It's not
exactly.
even wants. Like they just need to they need to buy a Sobo, right?
Mm-hmm.
They gotta lock them up because they're making
Yes.
Flight Simulator. You can't risk them getting bought by Focus or somebody else and
Yep.
taking them away at some point. Even if you have the contract that's
Mm-hmm.
for a certain amount of time, it's still gonna end, right? At some point, and then you're
Right.
screwed,
Yeah.
right? So learn from Killer Instinct, buy them. Same thing with
Eh,
Certain Affinity.
Yep.
Come on, man. They've been making Halo stuff for so long.
Yep.
Come on, just buy them. Boom. So
Yeah.
it's done.
Yeah.
They're in
And I
there.
have a feeling those kind of things are probably in the works.
They
And
should
then
be.
the two companies that are working for them now that they couldn't buy that.
Crystal and Eidos.
Yeah, they couldn't pick those up. Somebody else did, but but both those teams are working for Microsoft. So maybe that's a placeholder and something they're gonna, because if they throw twice as much money as what they were paid for originally, which Microsoft can do easily,
Easily.
then the company that's in a little bit of a bind financially might just do that, make that happen. And no, that
My
and that kind of stuff doesn't need any kind of regulation or nothing. They can just purchase them.
Yeah, because it's small enough.
Yep.
My just in the we were recording before this, and my wife had brought up the idea that it's a little curious that now Embracer is hurting and
Mm-hmm.
they're down now.
Yep.
So it would look good for a Microsoft to say, hey, I see you guys are down. We can take these studios off your hands,
Mm-hmm.
pay you a premium, you know,
Yep.
good stuff, and we're done. I feel like for the price that Embracer got the whole shebang,
Mm-hmm.
it had to be like a hold situation. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they were in on it. Between them, even Square, maybe Square,
Maybe.
maybe this was all a wraparound because why would I feel like PlayStation would have paid more than
Yeah.
Embracer.
And the thing that if since we're talking gaming, I'll put on my quick gaming hat real quick. But like there were deals that were in the works, and we
Mhm.
know from the court documents there's a lot of companies that they were wanting to go after,
Yep.
and then the ABK deal just came on them out of nowhere.
Yep.
Context like, hey, you know what? Bobby calls and says, would you be interested in us? And they're like, whoa, okay, well, to do this, we're going to have to pause this other stuff and we're going to have to focus on this. And that's what they did,
Yep.
right or wrong, but looks like it's the right deal so far.
Absolutely.
that,
Absolutely.
it's going to pay off for them big time. And then, then they'll be able to go back and, right the ship and maybe patch some things up. Because a lot of people are saying, Sega selling off some of their arcades and stuff, business and stuff, things like that, where they look like they were gearing up to be purchased.
Yeah.
And
Well, we know that they
then,
were there. I mean, the
right.
Phil had it ready to go,
Yep.
right? So that's only that document we saw. We don't know how much further they
Oh,
got.
yeah. Yeah, you're
Obviously, we
right.
got the super game deal and this other
Hmm.
stuff. So conversations happened. I don't know. I think Sega's definitely next. As far as the big, when you go big, I feel like next year it's in
Yeah.
there.
I don't know if they're going to try and go for another publisher this year. I
No,
think, like you said, suggested that they would probably need to pick up a lot of
little guys.
the little studios, the ones that are under the $5 billion cap. But once you get over 5 billion and the publisher, those combinations are what they're really going to be scrutinized on. And especially if the FTC, if they feel like they were burned in the result of the which is no fault but their own, that this
Yeah.
happened to them, then yeah, then they may be a little, extra picky next time. Who knows? But we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I
Well, let's
derailed us with a lot of gaming talk. We can get back to the interview.
Oh yeah, no. But I mean, but this is a gaming podcast, so we'll get back into more gaming part as it
Yeah,
goes
man.
to. But I would like to turn now to, I guess, you know, obviously you have your own channel which has grown, and we talked a little bit about it in the green room. If you don't mind, let's kind of go over how that all kind of came together. I mean, I mean, at some point you were like, well, I'm going to start podcasting, or I'm going to, do a show, or I'm going to record my own content. And how did that come about? And then how did it come to where it is now?
Yeah, so it all started with my son. So Mario Kart Madman is our channel name, but we made that name when he was a kid, like really, really young,
Nice.
just for he can go on YouTube, So it's just like we made a name so he could use YouTube, and that was that. And then, he's always been really creative. Like, he loved like telling stories and writing stories and doing like English is his like favorite class. Like he loves all that stuff. So, and he's really funny. So, and he likes making voices and things like that. So, what we did is we were in on the amiibo craze when it was popping off. We bought, I think we have every amiibo. There may be one or two that we don't have, but
Nice.
we have a lot of them. So we've had them forever. And my son grew up with Mario and he loves Mario and all that fun stuff. So what we did was we told him like, listen, you love to make stories, right? You love to make these funny voices, do all these things. Why don't you use your amiibos and like just make funny videos, right? Tell funny stories, you know, write your things, do however you want it, and just record it and you can put it on YouTube. And that's how it started. So, he has like if on the channel, if you go right now, there's like 170 videos that he made that are funny video. I mean, you see the progression from when
Hmm.
he first started until, the latest ones. The latest one was probably, I mean, he still makes some shorts. But like there's a lot of videos he made on there and he had like storylines and stuff and all this stuff and they were funny, they were good. So
That's
that's how
cool.
the kind of channel started growing, in the beginning, he was just making those videos. Um and what really like he was doing that for a while and then he came to us as once he got older and he was like listen that he wanted to make a podcast to talk about video games or anime or whatever he wanted. So it's like all right, we'll do that, right? But we didn't have any equipment for it or anything, so we would it was me, my wife, my daughter, and my eldest daughter and my son, and we just sat around the dining room table and we had our phone and we just literally just recorded us talking and then we would upload it, just as a an audio file. I don't even remember. I have to look back at the original ones. I forget how we were doing them, but I know
Yeah.
we just record them like that and we put them up.
Hmm.
And that's how it started. Like we just last week, this past weekend, we just had our 1 year anniversary. So
Very
it's just a
cool.
year ago that we started doing it. And we went from the table and all that stuff to now we got mics and the cameras and lights and all that fun stuff and OBS and thumbnails. like it's a good time. So he started doing he wanted to do that and then we just got more serious with it. We just liked it. It was something that we really enjoyed doing. Um and we just kept doing it. And then over time, we added more um, things to it that we would do, So, like, me and my wife like talking to each other about different things. So, we have a show called Her, Him, and a Mic where me and her talk about, whatever, typically like a TV show or something that we've been watching that we want to talk about or whatever
Hmm.
it is. Um, so we have that. And then we got into, once I figured it out, we got into like uploads for gaming, right? So we started doing like live streams and like we would record ourselves playing. At first, actually, we didn't do any live streaming forever. We just started doing that not too long ago. It was all recorded stuff. So we would record ourselves playing a game together and then upload it. So we started a show called Doodles Never Have I Ever Played, because my wife's more of a casual
Mhm.
gamer, so she hasn't played a lot of like the big games that we all play. So, I've always wanted her to play them. So we kind of I use that as a way to get her to experience these games that, are, big, popular games or touchstone games to really try out. So, we do that and she has a blast. We have fun playing them. Um, and then it's just, and then we elaborate from there. So we do extended plays. We have, plays now where if it's two people, like my son and daughter, if they're playing, they got it. Or we do Sunday mornings, we do a for the win, which is a 4-player, all of us play together. Um, and once we transitioned away from doing the recordings, we swapped into live streams, and I really did that. We were kind of just thinking obviously I've always watched, all the streams that have been going on. And I was like, man, it'd be cool to do. And it just so happened right before I was gonna go into be on Boom for the first time, right before that, I was like, let's try to do the live stream, right? Because we can do the camera. I mean, we were
Mhm.
doing a live stream, but on camera,
Mhm.
it was really cool. And now we can't go back. I love
Yeah.
live streaming. Oh my god. Like, I liked doing the editing and stuff, but it took so long
Yes.
to do it. It was crazy. Whereas now, we do the live streams and it's just quick and easy and it just goes up. But throughout all that time, right, one of the big things that changed for us that made us start growing rapidly, was when we first learned about shorts, right? So we didn't know about
Mm.
shorts. So we were doing
Mhm.
only videos, right? So,
Mhm.
and videos is a little harder to get people to see your stuff and takes a little longer for things to grow. But then my daughter actually is the one who taught us about shorts because she has her own channel too, Purpleberry Crafts, which she's huge into My Hero Academia. She loves My Hero Academia.
Very
Uh,
cool.
and so she has like a whole channel where she just um, does things all around that. And she's growing herself, but she does mostly shorts and stuff. But she's gotten up to she's over 4,000 subscribers now,
Wow, that's
just on her.
awesome.
Yeah, just on her own. But she's the one who introduced us to the idea of shorts. So we started doing shorts because she told us about it,
Mhm.
and that's when we started kind of building up, and really accelerated our growth compared to where we were. Um, and then we finally got to 1,000 subscribers, and we got a little over 1,000 subscribers. And when we did that, my son, he had just watched the Mario movie.
Mm.
Right, so me and my wife, we took, my son and Purpleberry, his sister,
Yeah.
they went to go see Mario movie by themselves, so we dropped them off, we let them go watch it, right? So he came back and um, he was antsy about he wanted to make a short, right? So my wife, was there at the time, and he was like he really wanted to make it short, but he didn't want to tell her about it. He just wanted to make it. So she told him to go make the short, right? So he made the short, he put it up. So the short was a play on the Peaches song,
Mm.
right? So
Mhm.
did you saw the movie?
Yeah. Oh, it's the poster's right back there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I saw the poster, right? So the
Yes.
Bowser song where he's singing peaches,
Mhm.
peaches, peaches, right?
Mhm.
So if if you listen to it in just the right way, it sounds like he's saying bitches and not peaches, especially when he gets really animated at the end and starts kind of screaming it.
Oh
It
my god.
really sounds like he's saying bitches, right? So
Oh
so
my
my
god.
son made the short where the song is playing and it's every time it says peaches, he wrote the word bitches, but with like an asterisk, right?
Yeah.
And then he edited the song so that it did that for a little bit, but then it, like, jumped to the part where he's, like, freaking out singing, and then when he just wrote the word "bitches" again, but bigger
Yeah.
every time because he's, like, screaming it now. It was so funny because it caught you off guard, right? Like you're just watching
Mhm.
it and saying it says like bitches, bitches, and you're like, okay, I see it. It's yeah, I can hear that. But then when like he edited it in such a way that it just switched to the part where he's screaming, and it really sounds like it is just so funny. And that short got 3.7 million views. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so it blew up. Um,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, so it was really, really cool. So that kind of boosted us way up. We got tons of subscribers from that. Got us over the 10,000 mark and all that fun stuff. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty
Hell
cool.
yeah. That is awesome, man.
Yeah, it's just a random,
Yeah.
random video he wanted to make, and yeah, it did
That's me.
really, really
Every
well.
week you go, "Hey, buddy, what other ideas you got? Let's go. What's the next $1,000,000 one? Look, I mean, million one. Well, yes, son. Come on, let's go. Brains, think, think, think." Just kidding.
It's funny because it's like you don't know, you never know
Right.
what's gonna hit, and it was
Yep.
just like the perfect storm. And like that video, it's been like months at this point, and
Yeah.
it still gets watched. Like it's
Oh
still
man.
circulating out there. It
Hmm.
still gets a couple thousand views every, couple weeks. It's like
That's
that's
fun.
crazy.
Yeah. I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
watch it after
man.
this. So
Huh?
I'm gonna go watch it after this.
Yeah, yeah, it's easy. Just go to our shorts. Popular is the first one.
There you go.
Um, so yeah, it was really funny. It was good. It was good. So that was yeah. So that's where we are, man. And now we just they still make shorts. He still does funny shorts and funny
Hmm.
videos, and we just we just rock together. It's just a nice thing for us. Me and my wife were okay with starting all this stuff because for us, we looked at it almost like a time capsule, like
Hmm.
it was a way for us to kind of document our lives with our kids doing fun
Yeah,
things and stuff like
that's
that.
nice.
So it was it was cool. And it's still what we do, because even when I listen to my son talk now versus, when we started last year, it's you see them grow and get older and see how they change the way they speak and stuff. It's a cool time, man. It's a cool time. And thankfully, it's like we wanted to kind of do it as a fun thing, and it stayed that way. We grew to 1,000, and then we got
Hmm.
that big boost up because of the short. And it's allowed us to, kind of keep making what we want to make, but at the same time, you know, they get to do other things too. Like a big thing that they do on the channel is I think I said it was the AMVs. So they make the music videos
Hmm.
so they pick a song and they pick like an anime, and they just kind of edit the anime to kind of reflect the song, right? So it's like
Right.
they make the music video for the song. So they
That's
do
cool.
tons of those things. Um, and there's some really good. I think we have like 82 of them on our channel. Um, and a lot of them are really, really good. Like they have a lot of fun doing this stuff. So it allows them, like, I think overall we're pretty, like, especially them, they're very creative. So it's
Yes,
kind of an outlet for them where they get to do different things,
that's
you
amazing.
know. Yeah, they have I mean, my wife doesn't do it too often, but she loves to color and do things like that. So she has
Yeah.
a doodling with Doodle where she'll put up a video of her doodling something. It's cool stuff. My kids put drawings up. It's just a way, like a creative outlet to kind of put
Yeah.
yourself out there. I also look at it for, like, later on for college and stuff. They can kind of show,
Yeah.
you know,
Their work in
creativity.
progress and things that they've done. Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And from watching, like I said, I've jumped into a couple of your shows. You even nice enough to call me out, which was nice. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
There's you know, you and your wife have a really good rapport. Obviously, it's like your best friend.
Yep,
And it's like it's kind of nice being able to do those kind of things together.
absolutely.
Even if it's just a little video here or there, but it's your time. You know what I mean? Even
I,
though
you
people are
know,
watching you.
That's 100%. It's funny because for me specifically, like I work a lot, so it's like, before doing this, make time to spend with each other, but we have
Mhm.
so many kids, so you kind of like have to balance everything together. And this has become a way where we can almost kind of like silo off the time, like, hey, we're recording, so we're gonna be
Yeah.
doing this. So, one of my other kids will be with the other kids and we'll hang out together and get to record. It's like a way to bond in a very hectic scenario. We get to kind of find a way to
Yeah.
silo ourselves off a little bit, which is nice.
It is nice. That's very cool. Well, like I said, you guys have a great chemistry in it, and it shows in the work that you guys do together. I guess it's not
I
really
appreciate it.
work, but you know what I mean. The
Yeah,
content that
yeah.
you guys put
Oh,
out is enjoyable and fun.
she's my wife, but she's my best friend. We
Yeah,
have a great time. So
it's awesome. Well, my
yeah,
wife
man.
puts that with me, so yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No, she's my best friend as well too. I
Yeah,
just let her
man.
do her thing. She lets me do my thing.
There you
Sweet.
go. It works, man. It works.
Whatever works, right? There you go. There you go.
Absolutely,
Oh
absolutely. Yeah.
goodness. Well, as we're kind of starting to wrap things up, I got a couple of quick things I want. I guess we'll. What are your feelings on? Because today was such a big day, and I know
Yeah,
we're
man.
both kind of tired from all the different wow and kind of take it all in, and there's still more things popping
More to
up
come.
and speculation and all these different news outlets that are now really digging in deeper into how things are going to play out. So what are your thoughts? Are you glad that it's coming to an end, or moving on to the next stage, or what?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I am. I mean, I've always thought that this was gonna go through, so it was more of just a waiting game. Like, obviously, actually hearing the confirmation, like, "Oh, we're good to
Hmm.
go," like, that's
Yep.
great, but, like, it was always just I knew it was gonna happen, so it's just a waiting game. Like, I was just waiting for it to be done because for me, again, when Embracer bought Crystal Dynamics, I got so upset. It's
Hmm.
like, "Oh my god, like, why?" Like, that should have been Xbox. Like, what I'm looking forward to is obviously what's to come from all the stuff, but I want them to go buy the other companies that are lingering, like, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm glad that the ABK talk can finally subside and we could just focus on whatever games they're gonna bring and what's going in the Game Pass and all that fun stuff. Great. But I wanna see what's next because they're the ones who did it to us, right? They told us they're not done. They told us that there's more that they're gonna buy. Of course, we had to see all these emails showing us everything that they were gonna buy or looking into buying. It's like
Who you gonna get?
it's like a kid in the
Everyone.
toy store, you know what I'm saying? There's
Exactly.
so many options, like, what are you doing? So, like, that's my next, kind of excitement. I was like, what are they gonna do next? Who are they gonna buy? What are they gonna scoop up? Like, I'm ready to see what they're gonna do. Aside from that, just the games. We already know the games are coming. Like, that's why it's not too much of a concern at this point. Like,
Hmm.
Starfield's coming, that's gonna be a banger. I love Forza, so I'm gonna squeeze in some Forza gameplay every once in a while between
Hmm.
Starfield sessions. Um, and then my biggest game of the show that we had was Fable, man. Like, I freaking love Fable. So
Same.
I'm uh I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I can't wait. I remember Fable has such a place for me because I was so obsessed. Freaking Peter Molyneux, bro. He was a good salesman, man. I remember being in high school, going early to school because I wanted to go use their computer lab so I can go on like teamxplus.com, man. Back in the day, that was my
Hmm.
source. And I would read the interviews. Oh my god, I would print them out because they were so long and I didn't have time to read them before class. So I would
Hmm.
print them out at the library and read it. And all those dreams that he promised us, he had talked about you can step on an acorn and leave the place and come back in a few years and the full tree would grow. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So
Hmm.
he filled me up with so many possibilities of what that game could have been. And obviously it didn't quite equal what he was selling, but
Yeah. Well.
it was such a big game for me, and I just love the whole Fable franchise. So this new one finally coming out, I'm so pumped for it. Can't wait for that to come out. It's good
Yeah.
times, man. We have a lot
It
ahead of
is.
us that's exciting.
It
A
is.
lot ahead of us that's exciting.
Well, I usually ask, what's the most anticipated game that's coming out that's not out yet, but I think I just got your answer.
Fable.
That
Fable.
was easy.
Yeah, I mean Starfield we're getting in like a couple months, so
Right.
I already know it's coming. It's Fable.
Exactly.
That's the one I'm like, I can't wait for that bad boy.
I agree with you. It's gonna be amazing.
Cannot wait. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's very cool. Love the Xbox community, man.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's
CMoney,
really awesome.
great man. This was really great having you on, man. I loved getting to know more about you and your
Thank you,
wonderful
man.
family. And you know, good luck to everything you guys do, man. I have no doubt that you guys are going to continue to grow, and hopefully you'll be even sharing more wonderful things and more things with us. And you know, as your channel grows and as you know, of course, you know, your family gets more and more involved in things. I think it's fantastic. If you don't mind, though, go ahead and tell everybody where they can reach out, where they can find you, when your shows usually drop. All the information is going to be in the description below, but this way, I always like to get this out too. Hit it both ways.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So so you can follow me directly on Twitter. And that's CMoney forever. So CMoney, the number 4, the word ever, all one word. And then our channel is Mario Kart Madman. So you just Google it. Or right on YouTube. It's the only one. So it's pretty easy to find. As far as like shows, we don't have set times for pretty much anything because of our kind of busy schedule. So we kind of just try to, we always tell the people, like, if you're in our Discord, you could join our Discord. It's a whole bunch of different letters, but if you go on our channel or you go follow me on Twitter, it's over there. But in Discord, we put when we're going live. It's kind of like those pop shops or whatever, what they call them, like,
Oh yeah,
pop-up shops, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're a pop-up video, right? So it's just
there
like,
you go.
hey, we're going live in 15 minutes. It's like, if you can come, great. If you can't, watch the video when later.
There you go. I
so
will make a suggestion for everybody to make sure that you not only subscribe to their YouTube channel, but hit the little bell icon so that
Yes,
when they
please
do
do.
go live, you will be notified of that. That's a
Yes,
big thing right there. So do
appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge thing. That's the way everybody knows we're going live. I do put it on Twitter when we go live. The only set thing that we have is on Saturdays we do our podcast, which is OnPoint, the gaming podcast. So that is every Saturday. The time, again, I know these are all no-nos. You're supposed to have a set time.
Okay.
So people know, but it's just like every time we've tried it, and
Real
it's
life,
just like,
man. Real life.
it's life happens, dude. So it's
Exactly.
like we can't, there's too many of us to be able to dictate 100% when things are going to happen. But on Saturdays, typically in the morning or the afternoon, we'll go live on the podcast. And the typical staple we have is on Friday mornings. That's the only thing we can pretty much keep up with. When we do our 4-player, between us, we do a live gameplay. But aside from that, man, that's it. Everything else just kind of pops up on our channel. So if you follow us, it's the best way. And we do appreciate it. We're close to 11,000. So, we're about 130 or 140, something like that away. So we do appreciate people stopping by and subbing if they like it.
Yeah,
man.
it's definitely worth giving a sub to. Definitely. I definitely recommend that everybody do that. CMoney, thank you so much. The host of OnPoint, a gaming newscast. I appreciate you so much being on here tonight, and thanks to all of you for watching. Don't forget to check out our other videos if you get a chance. We've got over 80 different interviews right now. Whoo, on the road to 100 interviews. Looking forward to that. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Lots more coming. Even a few let's say hard to get to interviews I've got in the works, so we'll see when those are coming, but those are coming. I promise. But you know what? To me, everybody's important, from from somebody just starting out all the way to somebody like Dealer Gaming, who's been around for a long time and got over 100,000 subscribers. It's everybody's got a story and a lot of great content out there, and you don't know what you're missing if you don't check it out.
Absolutely.
Thanks everybody for joining us on Outbreak Gamers.
Game over.